Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And welcome to this, your church, a Paul Christian Spiritualist Church. Great delight to see, try that again, Lawrence. Great delight not just to see so many people here today, but also so many new faces. Welcome. This is Paul Church. We are quite progressive with what we do. We have different styles of services, we have different styles of demonstrators come in. So we keep this mix up, so there's always something for somebody within the church, and it shows by the attendance. So thank you. I will remind everybody, new and old alike, today's service is made up by your presence. All right, you have not come to see a rehearsed script or a show. Everything that happens today is because of your presence. So if it goes wrong, you're to blame. That's my caveat. That's me off the hook. Anyway, great delight to welcome back wonderful Stephen Mayger, who's joining us from Portsmouth today. As you can see, Stephen has his way of working with the philosophy, which is wonderful, which is really wonderful. Stephen's knowledge and dedication to working with the other world and spreading this information is phenomenal. I'm jealous of his energy because I'm at that stage of life now. I need my energy just for getting out of bed in the morning or looking after the cat. But Stephen has his amazing thoughts and thinkings. It's different to what you usually associate with a divine service. But different isn't bad. Different is good. If you can take something from it, great. If you can't take something from it, great. It is as simple as that. Sadly, we live in this age, don't we, where different is dangerous. Different is to be quashed and hidden. Spiritualism is progressive. The spirit world is progressive. We are progressive, although at times we wonder. So enjoy today's service. Big warm welcome too to everybody watching us online wherever you are in the world. Just to reassure everybody here, the camera is purely focused on the platform. It does not include the congregation. All right, I do not use my congregation as props for the movie, so rest assured. Please note, everyone watching online, we do not have a moderator today, so please feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Also a reminder, if anybody comes into the virtual room and starts telling you they're a wonderful medium and for only $100 you can have a reading for them, just block them please. It's really easy, all right? Everything we do happens here. In the meantime, I'm being told to shut up. I will get nagged from upstairs, it's great. Stephen, sir, if I could invite you for the opening blessing. Thank you.
Just like to join me in the silence for a few moments. Divine and gracious Spirit, we thank you for bringing us all safely together here this morning, for bringing our loved ones close to us and bring them through to give their evidence of their survival, but not only to show us that we are spiritual beings, but that they love and care for us beyond the grave, that our life is an eternal one. And our task here on earth is to learn and grow through relationships with ourselves, each other, and the earth. And we ask for a healing blessing this morning for all those mentioned. And this service is taken in your love and care. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Stephen. And now, if you care to, please join in with saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you. Please forgive, I've just got this annoying little cough that every now and then goes, I'm bored. We now move into that art, that time, that very presence of healing. Healing, as we always remind you, is not a gift bestowed upon a few people. It doesn't make you special. It's expressing our love. And that is something we can all do. We can share our love through wherever, whoever, whatever we are drawn to. So during this time, we invite you to send out that loving thought to wherever your heart leads you. Just send that energy, send that care, that compassion, that upliftment, and trust that all prayers, all thoughts are answered. We also invite you during this part of the service, if there is somebody in particular, including yourselves. You know, we're so terrible, aren't we? We go, oh, healing over there, and you're stood there with one leg hanging off and your head hanging off. Don't forget to ask for yourself. There is nothing selfish in that. So if you would like somebody mentioned, simply raise your hand. When I point to you, just call out their name. It's as easy as that. So enjoy this time of healing, this time of connection, this time where you, each and every soul represented here in this church today, are the healer. Thank you. Divine and infinite Spirit, God of our own individual understanding, we thank you for this time and this reminder that we are healers one and all. We can choose to spread love, to spread peace, to spread upliftment to wherever and whenever that we choose. Amen.
Amen.
I'd now like to invite Stephen for his philosophy and address for today. We're all looking forward to it. Please remember at the end of the session, if you want to take a photo on your phones of what's going on, probably advisable. But where are you? There you go. I thought we'd run away. Stephen, over to you.
Right, where do I start? We're having conversations with people as a spiritualist. One of the main questions is, where's the spirit world and how do you communicate with it? And to know where the spirit world is, you have to kind of know where you are, because we operate in many dimensions at the same time, but we're only aware of our visible world that we can see. And there's a key piece of knowledge that if you know this one thing, you can see everything through that lens. And we discovered music, we didn't invent it. And when we discovered it, we found a pattern to it by playing lots of different notes. And we developed an octave made up of 7 notes, where the last one's the repetition of the first one. We see on the keys of a piano, go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. It's the octave repeating itself. But you have the black keys as well, because there are these sort of sharp notes in between. And so there's 13 notes altogether in the chromatic scale. And there's a sort of mathematics and geometry to music, which I'm not going to go into because it'll take hours. But it relates to colour as well. And the chromatic scale of colour begins at the most basic with red, and at the highest it's blue. Now there's something called the Doppler effect. If you see a star in the sky and it's got a red tinge to it, it means it's moving away, and the light waves are being dragged long, sort of deep sound waves, light waves. But when that planet or star is coming towards us, it's blue because it's pushing all the light particles together with an intense waveform. And so these are the 2 ends of the colour scale, from infrared to ultraviolet. But we exist in that visible octave. Our spirit operates in many higher octaves and lower octaves. And so our loved ones, they are free of their physical form. So they're operating in a higher octave. And the pattern just repeats itself. But the colours that we see repeat themselves in a higher dimension, and they're of a much more hyper nature. And if you go into your meditations, typically what you get when you link with spirit, everyone will understand this, is this overwhelming colour of purple flooding your mind. And so that's where our octave, the high end of the ultraviolet, is sort of blending with the next octave, and we see that purple. That's the theory anyway. But like any theory, your practice is different. You know, this is a map, and the map isn't the territory. Your experience will be individual, but we can all relate to this map, if that makes sense. Now, light, when it's at full speed, is white light. As it slows down, it breaks down into the other colours, and when it slows down further, it slows down into sound, vibration. So we are basically, our mind is light, and we are somehow vibrating our body into being. Our physical existence has come from our spirit, our soul. And we, you know, your waking soul might not know how to grow an arm or a leg, but there's something inside you that does know how to do that, and knows how to digest all your food. And there's an intelligence in the background that your conscious mind isn't in any control of. And when we sort of sit in silence, what we're doing in life, it's a feedback loop. We're sort of taking in information, processing it, and then expressing it in a feedback loop. We react and we respond to our experiences. And there was an experiment done with cymatics, where you get a plate with sand on it or a bowl with water in it, and you put a frequency through it, and a pattern emerges. And the more intense the frequency, the more intense the pattern. And this group went round cathedrals and churches around Europe and was recording the silence in the building, and believing that the architecture had been built specifically to certain tones and chords, which is true. We had this weird technology that we understood very well, and we seem to have lost it. But the people who built these buildings, they knew about it. Because what they did, they were taking these recordings of the silence and then playing it back through a feedback loop, and each time increasing the intensity until they got an audible sound. And when they played that audible sound through the cymatic plate, they were getting the same patterns that you would see on the stained glass window in that church. So it's not that that building has that energy in it. That energy is inherent in everything, and it's in the silence that we can actually respond to it. So when we're meditating, we're creating a feedback loop. The first one is with your own soul, and you tune into yourself. And then as you sort of increase that feedback, you link up with higher energies and higher realms, our loved ones and our guides and helpers. But there are many levels that scale up into what we know as the angelic realm and the archangels. And then it goes right up to the cherubim and seraphim. But these are a little bit out of our comprehension. But like I was saying with light, is all the lights on in this room. When you look at them, it looks like a constant light, but it's actually pulsating, flickering extremely quickly. And if you watch like news reports on TV, sometimes they'll be interviewing someone and they'll have a computer in the background. And you see these lines on the computers because the frame speed of the two different cameras are out of sync with each other. So it's much like if you were able to actually see the flickering in the light, it wouldn't seem like a constant stream. And when we talk about this polarity that gives birth to life and creation, everything has its polar opposite, but there's one theory that doesn't, and that's existence. There's no such thing as non-existence. We know that because we exist, so I'll leave that in your head to mull around for a bit. But that's what creates this polarity that we see in the universe. And we think of a Big Bang expanding over very long periods of time, so long that we can't comprehend it. But there's a theory that that's also happening so fast that you can't comprehend it, that the universe is expanding and imploding 64,000 times a second. So I'll let that stew around in your head as well. But that's how a lot of the ancient people saw how we live. And I was studying Druidry a bit more recently, and the same concept exists in Druidry, that the universe is flickering in and out of existence. And this is before they had electricity to be able to conceive of that notion, if you know what I mean. And a lot of the ancients, when they studied spirituality, they realized that music and the octave was in harmony with scale. And if everyone's seen the board, I'm sure everyone in here knows the sound of music. It's a slightly different version of do, re, mi, but it comes from a very ancient Latin text. And I'll be honest, I can't remember where I learnt this exact one from. And during the week when I was trying to do my source research to try find out where I remember learning this, I couldn't find it. So it's slightly different to what you will find, but it's quite useful, so I'll share it. And we know do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. And it was designed not only for the scales of your voice, but to understand the scales of the universe and the scales of being. And do is for dominion, us on the earth plane. And this is the octave that we are in. Re was short for Regina, meaning the queen, and it meant the moon, because when we looked out into the cosmos, we've got the earth and then we've got the moon. And then we look further out and we've got the microcosmos, which is the luminaries. These are the planets that you can see with the naked eye. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, Mercury. And then we've got Fata, or fate, and that's the zodiac. So as we move out of the solar system, we see the zodiac. And then we scale up again to the Solaris, the stars, all the stars in the sky represented by our sun. And then La is short for Lactea, which is what they call the Milky Way. That's why we call it the Milky Way, because they called it Lactea. And then we got Sidereal, which is strings of galaxies in large clusters. And I don't know if anyone's seen, there's a computer-generated image of something called Laniakea, which is supposed to be the supercluster that our galaxy is a part of. And if you do some homework and go have a look at it, it resembles the sort of tissue fibres of the human body or the nervous system almost identically. So it's like we are part of a much larger, greater being. And there are little beings inside our own bodies who have no idea who you are. There are enzymes and bacteria that can only exist inside your body, but they have no concept of who you are. We only know they're there because of our microscopes. So this is a way of us understanding the scale as it was taught to our ancient ancestors. But if you go back to that sort of feedback loop, what was I going to say about it? Yeah, octaves and resonance. You know, all of us some are born with a musical ability. I certainly wasn't, so I've had to learn this the hard way, and I still can't keep a beat. Maybe in the next lifetime I'll be able to write a tune. But it's what I was getting from this was that feedback system when we sit and meditate. It's very difficult because the mind just gets preoccupied, and it's very rare that you can just sit there in pure silence. So what the ancient people did is they chanted, and they chanted whatever it was that came to them, but the one chant that seems to be universal around the world is Om. And when you're chanting, you're repeating the same thing over and over again, but each time you repeat it, you're having a different experience. You're intensifying that feedback loop. So what happens is you're releasing your mind of the day-to-day stuff, and you're opening it to be more conscious of the next octave. So as an experiment, me and Laurie discussed it. And we're going
Did you drag my name into this?
Well, it's either we all chant Om together, or Laurie sings Edelweiss as a solo. So. Right, so Laurie's probably better at leading us. Are you going to lead us in the Om?
No, you can. Okay. I'm not shifting responsibility.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if everyone just wants to sit and just take a little deep breath, make yourself comfortable. Doesn't have to do it for very long. But the idea is you have this resonance in your body, and it's perfectly pitched to you and your health, and really probably wouldn't need hospitals if we were listening to music and chanting and living like the healthy ancients did. Every morning they would get together and they would chant, and they would release all these endorphins in their body, and your pitch is perfect for you. My pitch is perfect for me. And after a while you start realizing the absolute perfect signature that is your soul. It's perfectly suited to you, and so is your voice and your resonance. So with that, just take a nice deep breath, and we'll all start chanting together. Just go for 2 or 3. Okay, but nice and deep, and just release. Don't be embarrassed. Does anyone feel the difference in the room? And it's not just that, the hymns that we sing in churches and the psalms, they were all designed in the same way to get us all together chanting and singing in the same vibration, which is why churches have to have hymns to this day. So.
That was incredible, because that had its own life.
Yeah.
That wasn't individuals doing something, it was like centred. And there was a resonance. There was, my feet are always on the ground, but it was tangible.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing when you can get a group of people to do that for over and over for a number of rounds. And when I've tried to experiment, we don't tell anyone when it's going to finish, like I did, and everyone just finishes at the same time because everyone's tuned into the same energy. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Can I get rid of this, please? I really am going to end up taking my eye out here. Thank you. Well, like I said, we have different types of services. That was really interesting. Don't forget, you can go back and re-watch this on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, because there was a lot of information there. If it resonated with you, excuse the pun, absolutely wonderful. If it didn't, you know what? That's fine as well. That's fine as well. We cover all bases because we work with the other world. We now move on to our piece of music for the day. During this time, Sue will be taking the collection for the further work of this, your church. Thank you.
every anxious thought that steals my breath. It's a heavy weight upon my chest as I lie awake and wonder what the future will hold. Help me to remember that you're in control. You're my courage when I worry in the dead of night. You're my strength 'cause I'm not strong enough to win this fight. You are greater than the battle raging in my mind. I will trust you, Lord. I will fear no more. I will lift my eyes, I will lift my cares, lay them in your hands, I'll leave them there. When the wind and waves are coming, you shelter me. Even though I'm in the storm is not in me. You're my courage when I worry in the dead of night. You're my strength 'cause I'm not strong enough to win this fight. You are greater than the battle raging in my mind. I will trust you, Lord. I will fear no more. I will fear no more. I will fear no more. No power can come against me, 'cause you have overcome. No darkness can overwhelm me, 'cause you've already won. No power can come against me, 'cause you have overcome. No darkness can overwhelm me, 'cause you've already won. You're my courage when I worry in the dead of night. You're my strength 'cause I'm not strong enough to win this fight. You are greater than the battle raging in my mind. I will trust you, Lord. I will fear no more.
So we now move on to that part of the service. It's all well and good, isn't it, us saying there is no death. Hallelujah. We are the only philosophy, religion, that can offer you tangible evidence. I always emphasize the word evidence, because we cannot make you believe. Our demonstrators are wide and varied in the way they work and the way they present from the other world. The decision is yours to make. Please don't keep chasing endless confirmation, endless evidence, because we just tend to end up then on this path going nowhere. But just listen to that communication, feel that presence, and then take away and work with that intelligently. And ask yourself, how does this work? How do these people know that? What is it saying to my soul? So, during this part of the service, we require your input. You've already had an you had a free input there, that was wonderful. But should Stephen come to you, a nice clear response, please, with a
Yes, no, maybe.
There's a lot of new people sat here going, hear the eyes rolling from here. What the hell? But it is important that you're part of the proceeding. Please don't try and backfill the information. All right, it's Stephen's job to bring that evidence. And if we hit a little glitch, that's fine. It's Stephen's job to go out and sort it out. Sir?
Right. Yeah, so I see them in my mind, hear them in my mind, feel them in my being, but it's very subtle. And but there's an intelligence in spirit, and there's a humour, and sometimes they put me in awkward situations that turn out right. But we're trying to get information of memories of them to identify who they are, but we ask them to give us information of things that have happened in life since they've passed to show they're an active intelligence, and if they got any deep dark secrets that they can reveal to confirm that. But you'll see what I mean. And not everyone goes to the grave with all these secrets that they can be brought up in mediumship, but we're trying to get the character of the person. And I feel like I've got a gentleman, and while I'm talking, he's sort of talking with me. He would have been a very quite an intelligent, smart man, and he feels very fatherly. But as I say that, as much as his stature is to be respected and he's quite tall and people look up to him, I feel that people who know him know he's a very funny gentleman, and he's got a very quick and dry wit. But I don't feel I'm ever rude with this man. I might, innuendos, but you won't hear a swear word out of me, and I was quite particular about that. And I feel very sort of smart and good looking with this man, he wants to tell me, and but I feel there's a real distance. I feel that you know the man and know of the man, but you didn't get to spend a lot of time with him growing up. So it feels quite a sad, and what he's giving me is you know that we're going to meet and make that bond, but it's just a shame we couldn't do this in life. And I feel I'm coming to a gentleman. I'm getting the name Ashley, so I think it's.
Yeah. Yes, I
I'm getting very cold as I've just linked with you there, and not cold but very tingly.
Yeah.
I take it you didn't know this gentleman very well,
No.
and there's a lot of sadness there.
Yeah.
Okay, and more from him because you've grown with it,
Yes.
and he can't. You can fix the past by changing the future. He can't. He's saying, and he's a bit nervous, to be honest. It's like there's a trembling in my voice because I don't know how to. And I don't really want to look at you either because I feel embarrassed almost. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go for a drink with this gentleman,
Yeah.
but you shun alcohol. Is that? Would you understand that you don't drink?
No, I do. Yeah.
But not to. But not. You ain't got a problem.
No.
He wants to tell me.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, he wants to tell me
Yeah.
he had a bit of
I
a.
know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Look at the wife's reaction.
But you've learnt to moderate and control
Yes,
yourself
I
because
understand where
yeah.
you're coming from.
And I also feel that he's telling me that there's a lot of people you can work with in the same way. You're a good influence on people, he's saying. He's telling me that you must have suffered with headaches quite badly in the recent past,
Yeah.
and you didn't know what they were from or for, and they seemed to just resolve themselves when you found this, he's saying. Right, okay. And he's saying it was overwhelming, but he was desperate to talk to you
Okay.
and desperate to hear, to see you grow,
Yeah.
because if all he could do for you was that would be him doing what he needed to do in life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And he's not taking any ownership of it because you did it all by yourself, but he's very proud that he could help you on your journey. And he's not bitter,
No.
because I feel like he would have reasons to be bitter if he wasn't honest with himself, but he is. So, and if only he could be. I think I'm going to start crying with him,
Yeah.
so I'm going to leave it there. But he's there's so much love
Yeah.
didn't get to share, right? So you have your moments. You realise you've got a good soul, and
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, it's like he's just having a little moment of silence. He's quite pleased to come through. So I'll leave him with you.
Thank you.
I've got a lady stepping in with me now, and she's quite a tall lady. She's holding herself quite tall and straight up, and I feel she would have had a very good voice, quite strong, quite a high voice. You could really pick her out in a room. Okay, and she's smiling because she knows that she was quite loud, and she was just a lovely lady. and I'm trying not to be too generic with her. She's never without her little handbag, and her little handbag was never bigger than this. But what would come out of it, lampshades the lot, and she would have had quite short hair. It would have started to go quite grey, but she had quite a youthful presence about her right up to the end. She's telling me, and she would have worn glasses as well. But I feel these glasses weren't. She got them when she was about 40 and wore them for 20 years. So she kept walking into doors and having all these accidents. And I feel like I'm coming to a daughter, and possibly, I want to be known by a couple of people at least. I want to go on mother's side of the family, and I feel this is a grandmother link more than anything. But she might be talking about other ones on the earth as well. I am feeling drawn down this way. There's two ladies towards the back there, and I feel I'm being drawn to either one of you with this lady. Can you understand this lady in spirit? Sorry, lady, just directly in front of me there with the blonde hair. Oh no, just in front of you. Yeah, that's it. Can you understand this as a grandmother?
I'm not very talking about.
Right, okay.
I did have aunties that did talk.
Okay. Right, so that's, I was... But she would have been a mother herself as well.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't know all my past
Okay.
families.
She wants to give me the name or maybe a surname of Elliot. I don't normally get names given out, but she's given that to me. So if you can't take that, is anyone around you can take Elliot with this lady? I don't normally throw it out. I don't know if I'm, because she's taking me right there, and I don't know if I might be with the gentleman at the back behind you there. Okay. With the gentleman at the back, can you understand any of this information or the name Elliot? Okay. Oh, right. She's making me feel like, because I feel like I've linked with you, and she's like, yep, that's the one, but if you can't take it, I'll just work with her.
Well, I don't know my past relatives, so
Right.
maybe there wasn't any.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's giving me, she's showing me with this little book, and I feel it's the little book of prayer, and she's walking into a local village church, but she's making me feel she just did it for show. She believed in something, but it was the only church for her, and I don't think she would have been a spiritualist as such, but she's making me feel that there's this, you're kind of torn between this and Christianity. Would you understand that?
Yeah,
Okay, right. I feel, yeah. And she's making me feel that there's this blending the two together in your own spirituality. And that she was probably a good influence on you from the spirit world, because it feels you're very like-minded. Because she's telling me that you're not rebellious, but you just don't think like the rest of the family.
that's true.
Okay, and you've been very much on your own journey, whereas the family, as lovely as they are, they're very mindful of how they appear, okay, if I put it that way. But you're a little bit more, I don't care, I can blend the two, and I'm just trying to understand it all. And I feel that there's a younger lady in this side of life, and she's taken me to a little ring. So I don't know if you've given some jewellery, passed some on to a younger lady in the family. Okay. Unless she's saying that this younger lady has this ring that she's got, because she's talking about this younger lady having a very bright outlook in life, and having a very, unless she's talking about when you were younger, I feel, and she's saying you had a very bright outlook, and you've, she's saying you've always been the smarter one, which I understand. I'm not trying to, okay. And she feels that she can really blend with you, okay, because your mind is going deep into thought, you're bringing yourself to places like this, and she really enjoys that, because it's a bit of an adventure for her, okay, because I feel her life was very much in this little village or little town, and it was pretty straightforward. She didn't complicate things too much. And now that your mind is expanding, you're able to ask questions she could never ask. Okay. And she's given me this feeling in my hands, which usually tells me that you've got a very strong healing energy. And I'm not trying to recruit you for the church, but I feel there's a very strong healing energy in your hands. And but you're not overwhelmed by it. You understand it, but you're not overwhelmed by it. But you're not sure what to. You're not really that interested in doing it full time, but you just know that nature's there. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's heard. She's saying you've forgotten your glasses. You usually got them on top of your head, she's saying.
Yes.
Do you understand that? Right. Okay. Because I just feel she's saying you've got her forgetfulness. She's being kind to herself, because I feel she must have started to see the aging process in her mind, and it worried her a bit, but she was taken before it could go too far. She's very appreciative of that. And she's telling me you understand mental health matters very well, and that you've worked with people or helped them in the past. I feel this lady will keep on talking. She's got my ear now, and she's going to chew it off. But it feels like there's something you're going to this afternoon or today, and that she's going to attend with you, if that makes sense. Okay, you're going to bump into someone, and it feels like she'd like to be with you.
I'll tune into it.
Yeah, like there's this Well, she's giving me the sound of her voice singing along to the radio, so I don't know quite what she means by that, but it's following on from what she just said. So I'm going to leave her love with you, because she would just keep going on. I feel she was a very talkative lady. I've got another lady coming in, and it feels quite a soft energy, but she's also making me feel that there was quite a lot of confusion in her mind towards the end, and this went on for a bit longer than was comfortable, and I feel that there's a lot of people who cared for me, and eventually I was taken to a home, and everyone felt awful at taking me there. But I want to tell them that I understood, that I would have done the same thing as well. It must have been a very emotional and very raw experience, and I feel it wasn't that long ago. And she wants to be very thankful, because quite a few people in the family stepped up, not just yourselves. And I feel with this lady, it was. She used to suffer with terrible ringing in her ears, and it would have been very painful. And I think this would help you identify her quite easily. I'm being drawn over here, but I'm not really sure where I'm going. Does anyone understand this information? The lady at the back, right? And you understand that it became incredibly painful, and there was nothing anyone could do about it.
Yes.
I feel this is associated with like vertigo or something.
Yes.
And I feel so overwhelmed with love, because I feel you must have been very, very integral in helping her towards the end. And so the gentleman with you, but are you not related, but you're together?
Yes.
Okay, because she's giving me a big smile with this gentleman here. Right? I don't want to marry you off just yet, but she must have had heart condition at the end as well. I think it was the heart that took her, but she was in a terrible state. And you were questioning life a little bit, because you were sat there thinking, is it fair to keep you here is this really fair? You know, it makes us ask the big questions of life. Are we meant to keep people in this condition? And it sent you on quite a journey in your mind, at least. Okay. And there's still a lot of upset over losing her. You know, it was still very raw for you, but other people as well. And she's saying she was overwhelmed at how many people came. You know, it was very touching. But she must have looked after a lot of people when she was in her younger years, and they all remembered her well, even the naughty ones. Did a couple of guys on motorbikes turn up in leathers somewhere along the line? She's shown. Right. I feel like she's telling me that she was drawn to the motorbike in the past. I feel she's saying, it feels like she's telling me she had quite a life, and not all of it is known about completely. I feel she had quite an adventure when she was younger, and she met some very interesting people. And I don't know if in some of her documents, paperwork, there are some like letters and flyers and things from her adventures. And I feel she met some really interesting people, and it kind of formed her view of life. I feel she travelled abroad as well, but she loved being at home. Yeah, and it feels like she's not going into too much detail, but there was distance between her and some of her children. Okay, and that never got resolved, and they feel terrible about it. I feel, or not fully resolved. She feels like she's present, but I also feel that she wants you to know she's around, but she's moving on. Okay, and she's got that release. You know, as much as she's got loved ones left on the earth plane to be around, I feel that she feels healed. Okay, and you must think about her still, and wonder if she's had that healing. You know, she wants you to know she's fully fine. Okay. What she just said to me is, I never got round to getting you that new pair of shoes. Would you understand that? And she owes you one. I'll leave her love with you. God bless you.
One shoe.
I've got a lovely gentleman coming in close to me, but as he comes in, he's got very, very high energy. He feels very excitable type of person. I feel bubbly around him. I just feel he brings everything up, and you have to take a deep breath when this person walks in the room, because you know, A, he's going to talk your ear off, and B, he's going to insist that you do something with him or for him. He's one of these people who gets something out of everyone in the room. I feel very much like a father, but again, he feels, as you would have got older, he feels as much a friend as a father. And I feel very much surrounded by ladies. I'm very, I must be in a family full of women, but it suits me perfectly. And I feel very part of the conversation. You know, I can walk in and sit down with the ladies and just join in the conversation, but I'm also just as equally comfortable at work and around the men. I'm being drawn over here, lady just there. Would you understand a father like this?
Myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite progressive.
But you just feel he's got such a nice nature, and when he walks in, the energy goes up. You know, you can't fake that kind of energy with him. And as he's blending with me as well, I am standing a little bit shorter than me. He's very smart hair, sort of side parting, but he looks like he should be like, what's his name? David Niven, if you know what I mean. He's got that kind of, just that little sparkle about him. But he's very grounded and down to earth. He sounds like what we do, I think. Right. But he could change, you know, he can sit down and talk with the aristocracy and then go back home and and feel the air is slightly blue, I feel, not quite, He smoked, but he wasn't a heavy smoker, but I feel he liked the look, you know, and Mum adored him, he's telling me, okay, and they adored each other, you know, he never had, even though he had the opportunity, he never had eyes for anyone else, you know, and he wore his ring every day of his life, he's telling me. Stay away from me, he's saying. And I feel that there's young men in the family that would have done well to have known him, but it's a shame they didn't cross the, you know, he went a bit sooner, and it would have been nice for the younger men in the family to have known him and see him. They see photos, but somehow he looked better in real life. He keeps telling me. And Mum had a really difficult time seeing him deteriorate, I feel, and because that was her man, you know, and their love was just very special. Do you still have some of their letters to each other as well? He must have suffered quite a lot with his head towards it, because I'm feeling a lot of pain and a lot of tension in my head. And there was only so much they could do to help me, but I was, you know, I very quickly prepared myself for my final flight. And you must have been holding his hand towards the end, I feel. He's just got this sort of, just as I feel my last sort of time on earth, I'm holding hands with someone who loves me more than anyone else in the world. Okay. So that was quite a gift for you to be there. I feel when he got to the spirit world, he was reunited with people that he hadn't seen for a long time, and I feel there was a brother, maybe it's a bit of a weird energy, and he probably didn't talk about it a lot, but it weighed heavy on his heart all his life. Okay, so that was resolved on day one in the spirit world, you know. And he loved dogs as well. I'm seeing, I don't know if it's a Labrador or Golden Retriever. It's one of these men who would say, we don't want a dog in our house, and then the dog becomes his. Okay, and they're very happy to see this dog and vice versa. And I feel he's telling me when he was younger, he learned everything from mucking out stables to rewiring cars. Okay, so he feels like a real fix anything and do everything to a very high standard. You'd think he was an electrician, you'd think he was a farrier, or whatever he did it really well. And I feel he's very proud of the younger generation, because they're also very naturally gifted. And he wants to take quite a bit of credit for that, but even though he had nothing to do with it. And he's telling me there's another gentleman in spirit within that passed in the last few years, and I don't know if this is someone that you knew quite well, feels like maybe a partner or someone that you knew in the past. And this gentleman would have suffered with a heart attack around his late 50s, I feel, mid 50s, and he just wants to be known and recognised. And they're clinking glasses somewhere. But it also feels as you've developed quite a nice little spirit team around you as well, and he's saying you've taken everything in your stride recently, and it's time to take a nice deep breath and relax a little bit, okay? Right. I don't quite know what it is, and it's a weird way of putting it, but he's showing me that you are giving out either checks or a few pounds here and there to the younger generation. Okay. But what he's following up is they're quite sensible, and you know it's a wise investment with these kids. They're not frittering it away down the bar or anything. They really do invest it in their future. Okay. I feel like he's just kind of gone a little bit quiet on me, and it's like the way he's making me feel is you've really brought this sense of quiet and peace around you. Your home is quieter, but it's the way you want it now. Okay. And it's just, this is a really nice moment in time to reflect, and you're really enjoying your spirituality, he's telling me. Okay. But it also makes me feel that he's trying to move stuff about, but you keep putting it back. Right? I'll leave his love with you. I feel a very mischievous nature with him sometimes, so he says the two of you share that in common, so I'll leave that with you.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Now move on to the notices for the week. Tomorrow night, Monday night, we have our healing evenings. These are held every fortnight, and if you wish to receive healing, if you're here for 7:15, please. Healers in the circle, as usual, please, 6:45. Tuesday evening at 6:30, Wednesday morning at 9:30, we have Qigong sessions with Harry Shelswell. These are an hour-long session. They include Qigong and meditation, and they are £10 each. Wednesday evening we see week 4 of our psychic course that's currently running here at the church. Next Sunday at 11 AM we have Roy McKay with us taking our service. Few things coming up later on in the month. We have a divine service with Jeanette Foot on the 17th, and we also have on the bank holiday Sunday, that'll be a totally different service. We call them our family gatherings. We used to have them a little while back, and it's a mixture of various people, various talents, and we will also be having a barbecue because it's bank holiday, and we deserve a barbecue, don't we? Yes. And we deserve a glass. And we deserve a glass of wine as well, don't we? Yes, we do. So that's Sunday the 24th. Please note there'll be no bereavement group in the month of August. That will return in September. A few things coming up in September. Please keep your eye on the website or the newsletters. There's his word, isn't it? We're no use as a prompt, are you? Out in the hall there. We've also got celebrate a bit of a late birthday, but the lovely Nikki had a wonderful birthday. Spent the entire day in Paul A&E, bless her. So that was lovely. So I think we could. It was great, wasn't it? Did you get fed? So I think we can do a happy birthday, Nikki. Oh yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nikki. Happy birthday to you. I think we're going to have to run after the service. Okay. Also, we see the return of 5 wonderful ladies from this church, from various circles and courses, who have just had a fantastic week with the JV Trust, compliments of the JV Trust, which is a trust set up to further the education within spiritualism. It is not assigned to any spiritualist body. They are their own unique being. So, ladies, did you have a wonderful, wonderful time?
We
Brilliant. Yeah, they've had a whole week away, dinner, bed and breakfast. Yeah. You've now all got to come down on that. Tomorrow morning you'll be waking up going, oh, I want bacon. But they've had a fantastic time, fantastic tutors. But now the hard work begins, ladies. Okay. Now is the time to put it to test. So well done. Congratulations to you. Stephen, if we could have the closing blessing. Thank you, sir.
Just join me in a moment. There's a bit of silence. Divine and gracious Spirit, we thank you once again for bringing us all together this morning, for bringing our loved ones close to us, for inspiring us through this service, and for that healing light. And we ask that it goes out with us into the world to find where it's needed the most and bring calm and peace to the earth. Amen.
Amen. Stephen, thank you so much. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I will be rewatching that this afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for coming along and supporting and being part of this church. Thank you to Spirit. We don't say this often enough. You know what? It's amazing how everything is brought together, bringing the right people into this community and sharing it. So thank you. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful, wonderful day, whatever you're up to. Keep up with us online. If you need information about the church, I always recommend please go to the website. We can update that like that. I can't change the programs that you've taken home, I'm afraid. So, in the meantime, have a great day. Thank you very much. Coffee?
Yes, please, yeah. Coffee, please.
Yeah.
Milk, sugar.
Milk and sugar.